got a little bit of snow this morning.
After 2 days of rodeoing, the morning comes early when you get home at 1 a.m.
Hey. No, just go do your steers and stuff, but you're not late. Now do these guys. Oh, Zach, I need to pay a bell of Grant of this hay. Should have done that last night when we had Levi's on. If they need water, is there a hose down there? There should be one attached to Jim's thing.
This one.
What? Oh.
The steers in the corral and the horses need to be cared for. The cool 19-degree morning air will wake anyone up.
I forgot my gloves. I didn't know it was gonna snow. Had to throw hay without gloves on. All right, that's all the steers need done.
Zack comes back from tending to the new steers at the roping arena. Now it is time to have breakfast and get ready for school.
So yeah, with the schooling, before they go to school, I really try to make sure that they know that their grades are important, that they're doing their assignments. Every morning I kind of go over this little spiel with them. They've heard it for Lyndsie the last 12 years of her life, Zack the last 8, and I just make sure they know they have to keep their assignments up. They do their school while they're at school, because when they get home there's chores to do, there's horses to ride, there's animals to take care of. You know, like we talked earlier, Lyndsie and Zack will come home and they will clean out the living quarters. They will sweep that and clean the bathroom and fix the kitchen in the horse trailer. They'll clean the back part of that horse trailer out. They'll clean the truck. And it's important. I talk to them about their checking account, and I always say no matter what people ask me that we do, we're a rodeo family, but what I say is my most important role in life is not just to raise a great barrel racer team roper, or not to raise a great team roper, calf roper. My job right now, I feel like, is to raise 2 really good citizens that I can send out into society, and they're going to contribute to society, and it's going to be a positive thing that they do for society.
Boyd Swanevelt. My dad was Leslie Swanevelt, and we been in the horse business for about 65, 70 years now. And a little bit about him, that's how I got started in the horses, is he was a rancher and a farmer, and in the 50s he moved away from the ranch and had to take a day job, which was like 40 hours a week. And Dad was always liked a really good bred horse and a good saddle horse, and so he was a horse trader. He traded horses on the side. He worked 8 hours a day, and then he'd spend 4, 5, 6 hours every night with people, customers coming over to test horses and ride them, and that's kind of how I got involved in it. He'd get me to help him preview and show the horses, and we showed horses, and then he'd trade horses with people and get another horse, and we'd try to make it a little bit better horse, or find a good home for it and make a use for it. And we would sell that horse and get another horse, and a lot of times he'd have up to 10, 12 head of horses there that he was trying to trade all the time. At that time also he had cattle, a few steers and stuff, so we had a use for the horses. And then kind of in the early 70s or late 60s, we decided that we had a cousin, he had a nephew that was a horse trainer, Blaine Swanevelt. He was in Los Alamitos, California, horse trainer, and we started racing horses, and we was racing our saddle horses and chariot racing at that time, and hooked them on 2 horses onto a sleigh or a chariot and race them. And we was tired of getting outran, so what we would done finally is we would go to Los Alamitos and claim some of the old claiming horses down there from Blaine, and help us get them, and we'd bring them back and break them to drive. And so that's how the L&B Swanevelt, Leslie and Boyd Swanevelt chariot team started, and it was very successful through the 70s. And won numerous horsemanship awards, and a lot of these trophies here you can see were won chariot racing and many of them flat racing. Dad also had a few thoroughbred horses, but mainly we concentrate on racing quarter horse type horses. And we had a lot of fun and won a lot of races over the years. And in the '62, I was married and to my wife Janice, and we've been together just about 50 years this year.
We're getting ready to go to it's just a 2-day rodeo. It's about 2 hours from here, so we have everything that the horses and ourselves require, especially the horses. We make sure we get proper blankets. If it's going to be hot, we just need their sun sheets. If it's going to be a little cold, we put a warmer blanket on them. We need all their grain, all their hay. So I need to mix the barrel horses grain, get that in packages, get that ready to go. We mix it ahead of time so that each night we can give that to him. And we've just been busy all day getting things ready to go to this 2-day rodeo. So I want to mix Lyndsy's barrel horses grain. So we're going to get that ready to go. He's on a special diet, and he has pretty much the exact same diet every single solitary day. It's all measured out. It's all carefully tended to what he gets. And I mix it, and then, like I said, we'll take and we'll put it into bags. So when we're on the road, we can just empty these bags into the feeders for the horses, depending on what horse needs what. Every horse has a special diet, different vitamins, different minerals, different supplements, depending on what the event is that the horse does, depending on the horse's needs. Just like people, every horse has different needs and needs different supplements in their diet to keep them healthy. And just like an athlete, they need different supplements and different things just to keep them performing at the top of their level.
I'd like them to rope right now. They're going to get too big before I can rope them.
We'll probably start roping tomorrow. We've had them for a week now.
Yeah, we're going to try and run them and rope them tomorrow. Because me and Clay are really getting anxious to rope.
Better give them a little electrolytes here.
Yeah, that's what this morning Clay's like, so are we going to start roping? I was like, well, we have to set up for Lyndsy's party. And he's like, all day? And I was like, yeah, pretty much. He's like, well, aren't we going to rope? And I'm like, well, I hope so. I mean, and he's like, yeah, that's what I came here for. And I was like, yeah, I know.
Zack good this morning, Zack?
Yeah, he did really good.
How much longer do you think we'll probably start just down to once a day?
I think whenever.
You pass this weekend, we'll be going to the rodeo maybe.
Yeah. Because, I mean, he's doing really good now.
He sure is.
It's just he's drinking all of it twice a day now.
Yep, that's good. He's looking real thrifty.
Yeah.
There we go. Yep, the new boots, because this is like an inlay. Then the rest is all hand tooled. So, I have the best mother.
Hey, man! Oh!
Okay.
56 going to be Rocky Watson, Mitch Lucero. Down 2-5, it's going to be 4-293, Zack, Sherman, Eric Madsen, 294.
Grabbing a snack at this 12-hour event.
295 is going to be Dawson Lewis and Cody Contop, and 296 is going to be Kent Benson and Benny Stondard. Down 2-5.
You're up to number 342, Mitch Lucero. Jared Jones on deck to number 343. Colby Peterson, Sean Carter in the halter number 344, Britton Bedke, Autumn Sears, be ready. Lucero and Jones, the dogs are yours. Clean with the 1001.
Pretty soon we had a couple of young kids, a boy named Brett, and then a daughter named Brenda. And so right away they had to get involved in the horses also, and so Grandpa Smallvelt, my dad, helped them a lot of times with their horsemanship and with their saddles and that sort of thing. That was pretty meager existing. They didn't have a lot of money, and so he helped them an awful lot getting started in the horse business and helped them with some really good horses. And they got involved at that time and was with 4-H mainly, and always had a very successful time with 4-H. And then every weekend we'd load them had a camper we put on our pickup and a 2-horse trailer. We'd put them in the camper and hook the horse trailer on, and we'd take off down the road, and they'd take the horses and show them at pleasure classes and reining classes and halter classes, and also the 4-H was, like I say, was a big part of it then. And a lot of these horses we were using were horses we took off the racetrack. But one thing we always tried to do was make sure horses were broke to ride and were broke real well before we started racing them. And it seemed like you could give them 2 careers, or they could do other things if they couldn't race. They could come back and actually made great using horses. And so that's kind of how that evolved. And then at that time, when the kids got a little bit older, Brett, of course, he was 4 years older than Brenda. He went to college, and Brenda had some friends that was rodeoing, and so she wanted to get involved in rodeo. And we didn't have a lot of good rodeo stock. We had a lot of horses, but they weren't really trained for the rodeo events. And so basically she took it on herself and started training the horses we had. I had a couple of pony horses I used for my race horses, and that's what she started actually using for her barrel and pole and goat horses. And you know, they weren't the very best horses at the time they trained, but I think it made Brenda a lot better horse person because she was developing her own horses at the time. And then that went on, and then finally they both graduated from college, and Brett went on to other things as far as he was very involved in politics. And Brenda always kind of liked the horses and stayed with that a little bit more. And she married a guy, Donnie Ekstrom, and he also really liked horses. And so at that time, we was chariot racing and still chariot racing. And my dad had passed away by then. He passed away in 1986. And so Donnie and I, Donnie and I, and Janice had our own chariot team. And we ran that for 3 or 4 years. And we could see that we needed to do some other things with Lyndsie and Zack. They were starting to get involved in horses. So Brenda started hauling them to lead line classes, a little bit of, you know, pleasure and halter classes. And then all of a sudden that rodeo bug just kept coming back, and they got Lyndsie riding real well, and we were still racing horses, so we always had some horses coming off the track, and Lyndsie would take these horses a lot of times off the racetrack that was really pretty high strung, and started working them on the barrels or poles or just riding them. You know, her and Zach would actually dress up like the jockeys and all that and have their picture taken at the end of the day after they win races, and their silks. Grandma made them silks to wear and all that, and had a good time with the horses. And so about that time, like I say, the rodeo bug also hit Lyndsie, and so we helped her. We had a little horse that we bought at the Heritage Place sale in Oklahoma, and she was one of those kind of horses that just to run her heart out on the racetrack, and she could qualify for every fraternity and derby we had her in, but she never could really win a big race. But she was one of those kind, just a little red roan mare, and Brenda started her on barrels. And so it wasn't long after that Lyndsie was riding her, and we timed only her for a lot of time and spent a lot of hours into her, and pretty soon Lyndsie was running her in youth races, and then they started her on poles, and you can't believe how this little mare shined on poles. I mean, she was just a natural. And Lyndsie started hauling her to the junior rodeos and stuff when she was like 5 and 6 years old in the junior classes, and she actually got to be probably one of the very best pull horses in the state of Idaho at that time. She was phenomenal. And we had a lot of success with her, and Lyndsie outgrew her, and we found her a real good home in Utah with some people that had some older girls who started in rodeo, and they used her for quite a few years after that. So we've always tried to find good homes for horses when we get done with them, because they've done such a good job for us. But
that, you know.
Yeah.
That's a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, I was waiting. I was like, well, let's see.
That was a good shot, Zach. That steer was even running away from you.
Yes, it was. You left the thing on your jerk line. Your jerk line is down.
A lot of pressure. Crazy little kid. Have to go out and heel against these pro champion healers.
High school rodeo on a Thursday night. 17 on the board in round number 1. She's on the Idaho Barrel Horse of the Year, B.I. Sun. Now we're going to go back to Daniel, Wyoming Rodeos for Idaho, Sean Butler. Sean Butler, chute number 7, area international chute.
Is like ice, so it cools down his legs and just takes all the swelling out and tightens up his ligaments. So it's just like an athlete getting his ankle iced or putting a heat pack on after a game. It's just getting him ready for the next run. Well, we're here getting ready to leave Rock Springs. We've had a fun week, accomplished a lot, made a lot of new people. Hopefully we represented Idaho well. I missed the short go by 3 people, but I ended up like 18th in the second go, so it was a fun week. Hopefully we can come back and experience it with Zack.
I've been watching this week and I've realized that the competition's really tough. So in order for me to make it here next year, I really have to stay focused, and I've been thinking how hard I have to work. I saw how hard my sister worked, and it's going to be really tough, but I'm excited to try and make it here.
Well, Nationals is over for us. I'm proud of Lyndsie. She finished 25th in the nation in the barrel racing. Her and Pecos came and represented Idaho. It's been an absolute awesome week. We've had a good time. It's just amazing to be able to be here and feel the feeling of being here at Nationals, and it gives Zack a goal and what he needs to do and how hard he has to work to get here. I know he knows that already, but it's once in a lifetime opportunity, and it's amazing to be able to be here, and I'm glad that we was able to experience this.
It's been a great week. It's an awesome. Lyndsie's had an awesome year. You know, it's amazing. I'm thrilled with how she's done. It's been an amazing experience.